dear students, this is Veena, Assistant Professor in the Department of English, Institute of Aeronautical Engineering. Today, I am going to cover the topic Oral Presentation with PowerPoint. In your professional life, when you start your career, it is very important to do or present your presentations very effectively. How is that you're going to plan your oral presentations using PowerPoint? It is very important entity now to use PowerPoint while you're giving your oral presentation. It will look appealing and also it will grasp the attention of your audience when you do PowerPoint presentation along with oral presentation. So, try to use your PPTs, give good, clear, specific explanation through your PPTs such that your audience will get interested in your talk and also jot down the important points whatever you are talking. So, let us get started to know more information about oral presentation with PowerPoint. Yes. What are oral presentations? A presentation is the process of presenting a topic in audience. Very simple. You are going to stand before the audience and give the possible information which you are intended to provide them or which you are intended to talk before them with all kind of brief explanations, examples and all the details which are catering the needs of the context you are talking. So, presenting your views, presenting your thoughts, presenting your ideas in front of others is your presentation. That is very important entity, which is very important quality which you have to inculcate as a habit in your professional career for the development of your professional life. So, wherever you go, you have to do teamwork. You have to present yourself. You have to present your ideas. You have to present your innovations. So, therefore, to present, you have to equip with your speaking skills orally as well as also add PowerPoint presentations to them so that they look appealing and also your audience will get interested and attracted towards you while you are speaking. Now, it is typically a demonstration. How is that you are going to present yourself? You will be demonstrating the things or you will be giving the introduction of any particular kind of context or entity or the material, or you will be lecturing. That is, you will be talking about a topic and lecturing about it, giving all the important details which are very important for your audience to know. It can be done in front of your students. While you talk to them, you can also lecture in front of them. Lecturing is one-way process. That is, you will be continuously giving information or talking about some topic and giving details with all the relevant information. Next, or speech. You will be given a content or a topic where you have to give a speech such that you will be putting forward your thoughts, your expressions, your ideas, your suggestions over the topic. Next, meant to speech, meant to inform or pursued. That means if somebody is down, if somebody is depressed, what do? You try to pursue them to not to get depressed, but try to inculcate the strength in you to step forward in your career. So, pursue people to do work. For that, you use the speech. Next, inspire. Motivation. Motivation is the most important aspect we look upon. By everyone will look upon on everyone to make ourselves strengthen and also gain that confidence in us, within us, and also move forward in life without making any kind of bad decisions or weak decision, and strengthen your self-confidence. You are inspiring us, inspiring others. Give them the scope, give them the motivation such that they move forward in their life. Those are motivational speeches. Or to build goodwill, that is to get good communication with others, to build good relationship with others. So you make presentation to cater the needs of all these elements which we have spoke. That is, you demonstrate, you introduce, you lecture, you give a speech, you motivate, you persuade people on all the levels. So this presentation will make you stand erect and also make you gain confidence to communicate to others. So therefore, you have to practice to make or to give effective presentations such that everyone will get impressed of you and everyone tend to give ears towards you such that they listen with lots of interest and attention. Next, scholars, professionals and students in all fields desire to disseminate the new knowledge. So your presentation must help others to expand the knowledge. That is, it is a way such that your audience will gain attention and also acquire their possible knowledge which the topic is intended them to learn. So see that your presentation is made of all these points. First, choose the purpose of your presentation. Is that you're going to introduce yourself? Is that you're going to demonstrate something? Is that you're going to pursue someone? Is that you're going to narrate a story? First, set a purpose. Then follow and make your points which you are going to discuss in a logical order such that your presentation looks very clear and also specific. Next, therefore, learning to deliver effective presentations is a necessary skill to master both for college and further endeavors. Not only in your college, for further future purpose, it is very important for you all to learn to give presentations effectively. Oral presentations typically involve 3 important steps. Now, when you tend to speak orally, not using verbs, that is, you're not doing a verbal conversation with a write-up here. So you're going to present orally. So what are the elements which generally are involved in oral presentations? 1. Planning. Planning is the foremost important element when you start or when you think of an idea to present about any topic. So plan. First, set a purpose, set a goal, try to understand the clear mentality or the thought process of your audience and set a planning such that they are not get bored, so that they'll be interested in you. So your planning should be in such a way that your audience are attracted towards you and they tend to lend their ears towards your conversation. Next, practicing. It is a saying, practice makes man perfect. So apply it. Practice, practice. Don't just directly go and stand on the stage and present. Practice before you go and start giving your presentation. Practice makes correction, make the correction in your errors which you tend to do in the first time. That means when you give a presentation directly on the stage, maybe you will be equipped with some errors You will be coming across some errors. So, to see that there are no errors in your presentation, you have to practice it, pre-practice it, such that your presentation will be error-free and also it is specific and it is also catering the needs of your presentation. Then comes presenting. After clear planning, after lots of practicing, then present, such that your presentation looks very, very appealing, very, very good, and also it will attract your audience. Next, planning. What is this planning? How is that you're going to plan? So, oral presentations require good deal of planning. You have to make or jot down the points on which you are going to address the gathering. So, approximately most of them make 50% of mistakes in the oral presentations. Unknowingly, it happens. So, to avoid those errors, to avoid those mistakes, try to plan, try to practice such that errors are not appeared in your conversation. Then, important entity which you have to remember and which you have to have a keen note on is your audience. That is the people whom you are addressing to. That is, when you are standing before some people, your audience, see that whatever you are going to talk to them is relevant to that particular situation and time, whether they are interested, whether they are related to the same entity on which you are going to talk. So, stay focused on your audience because you are going to present it for them, not for yourself. You're going to transfer information to those people. So, they have to be interested in your talk. If they're not interested, that means your presentation is waste. Next. Now, when it comes to audience, focus your presentation on the audience. See that all the information, all the content, all the activity, whatever you have planned in the presentation is focused upon your audience. Next, organize information into 3 to 5 points or categories. Try to organize your information in a very logical way. Just try to categorize it into 2 or 3 sessions or 2 or 3 phases or 2 or 3 elements such that you have good clarity over the points what you are speaking. So, to have good clarity, to have good notion towards you while you are speaking, have your section divided into 2 or 3 categories so that others understand it clearly and they will not get confused. Next, introduction. Oral presentation with PowerPoint needs the introduction. Before you start, don't start abruptly. You have to give proper introduction with the specific points on which you are going to talk. So, introduce yourself if needed. If they all know you beforehand, then it is fine and good. But if there are in the audience, if someone is not knowing you, if someone don't know you, if you are a very, very new person to your audience, then try to introduce yourself in a very effective manner such that it will have an impressive note on your listeners. Next, create an effective opening. Don't just directly go stand on the stage and start reading the content, whatever you have written. Try to impress your audience on your first note. Try to make break that ice. That is, ice breaking session must be conducted before you start, such that you get that ease to talk to your listeners. So, try to make an effective introduction. Try to open an effective opening. Then, reveal your topic. After a small talk, after a small ice-breaking session, then reveal your topic. Next, give a brief outline. Don't just go into the deeper meaning of the content as it is. First, introduce yourself, introduce the topic, then try to tell them the summary, the gist of what you're going to talk in that particular session, on what information you're going to provide them, such that your audience, your listener will have an idea in his mind to understand and to listen to you carefully about that particular element which you are going to talk. So try to provide gist to what you are going to present in your presentation. Next, main body. Explain your points. When it comes to the next part of your presentation, main body. Here you are going to explain main points. Give clear explanations. Try to explain very clearly whatever the information you are going to provide. So, explain clearly. See that all details, whichever are necessary for making your listener understand that particular context, give clear evidences, provide proofs or provide relevance references to the information whatever you are talking to them. So, see that you are very, very specific, you are very, very interested in providing all sort of information which is revolving around that particular context. Next, use transitions between sessions of your presentation. That means give a pause, give a break. Try to understand yourself and try to understand your audience whether they are able to follow your conversation. Self-monitor. Am I going in the right flow? Am I going out of the box? Check yourself. Take some transitions in between such that your content will be rendered very, very effectively to your listeners. Next, use analogs and stories. Don't just go on give a speech or go on give a lecture unless it is a lecture. Try to add some humor. Try to tell a story. Try to give some examples to that information or to that particular context, whatever you are talking. So that will create interest in your listeners towards your talk. So to grasp interest of your listeners, you will be using all these elements along with the PowerPoint presentation such that your audience or your listeners are tended towards your explanation. They will get attracted towards you and also listen to you carefully and understand the elements or acquire the information whatever is provided to you in terms of your speech. Next, conclusion. How is that you are going to conclude your oral presentation? I'm highlighting these points. Remember them and try to reflect them in your talks. Let us see what are those important points which will cater the needs of the conclusion. 1. Signal your conclusion with a transition. Try to give a signal to your listener that you are going to conclude it. In a way of gist or in a way of an example, in a way of a story, in whatever way. It must look different such that your concluding part looks very vibrant and also effective. Next, summarize your points. Give a gist. Summarize all the important relevant points which are mentioned in the speech. Next, refer to future action if needed. If you feel that the information which is provided by you will cater the needs of their future elements and help in the growth of their future elements of your listeners, then try to show them, refer them towards that future where they can use this particular information. End with thank you. Don't end abruptly, just like that. Try to end with good note of thanks. Next, if answering question, tell your answers. I'll now be happy to answer any questions. Don't just say thank you. Try to do this. If someone has some query, if someone has a suggestion, try to take it with a smile. These are all very, very important points in your concluding session. Then practicing. Under practicing, what are all elements covered and how they are helpful, we will get to know now. Practicing your presentation is very, very essential. It is at this stage of the process that you figure out word and phrase emphasis and timing of your sessions and overall presentation. Remember, these 3 points will be catered in your presentation. What is that? You will be figuring out all those words and phrases which will guide your listener towards that particular information which you are going to provide them. Point 1. Next, timing of your sessions. You are going to segregate the timing of the session. You will not just go at a stretch and give speech for 2 to 3 hours. Try to make different sessions. Try to categorize sessions such that the listener have a break to understand what is happening and also refresh himself to get ready to listen to you once again. Next, overall presentation. Try to focus on overall presentation elements or the characteristics while practicing. Try to remember about the place where you are going to stand. Try to segregate the time. Try to maintain the time and try to maintain the flow of speech when you are giving the oral presentation. Next, record your presentation and review it. If you have any doubt, if you have any problem with your presentation, if you feel that you need more practice, you can do self-monitoring. That is, record your speech and then review it. Try to record your speech and then review it yourself. Self-monitoring will help you in correcting the errors if somewhere occurred. Next, consider using different colored highlighters. So, when you are presenting, when your PPT is exposed in front of your listener, try to highlight the points with the highlighters such that that look over will go on to that main points. Your listener will tend to get attracted towards those vibrant colors which are appealing on the slide. So, try to use those highlighters to attract your listener. So, this is where you will make your PowerPoint presentation very, very effective. Next, consider using different colored highlighters to remind yourself when to pause. It will also help you to remind when to pause, when to read, where to stop. Okay, it will also help you and also your listener in different contexts. Next, practice in front of peers and elicit feedback. So, if you really want more suggestions, if you really want somebody to identify the errors and correct you before your presentation, present them in front of your friends or present in front of that elicit group who know about that particular content and take feedback from them. So, these are all very, very important aspects which you have to remember, which you have to practice while you are going to give your presentations. Make effective PowerPoint presentation with good colors, highlighters and with good bullet points. Organize them in a sequential manner. Take break, take pauses, add some humor, add some additional information in the form of a story or an example such that your oral presentation will look more effective and your listeners will listen to you carefully and they pay all the attention needed for the information. Next, presenting. Now, what are the things which are very, very important while you present? Point 1. Maintain eye contact. Try to maintain eye contact with each and every person sitting in that auditorium. Try to have an eye-to-eye contact. Don't just look above or below or sideways. Eye-to-eye contact will make your listener understand that you are very, very confident enough in delivering your information. That will fetch interest in your listener. So, maintain eye-to-eye contact. Next, be aware of your body posture. This is very, very important. Try to make your body flexible enough to make your audience understand that you're flexible and your modulation or your behavior looks appealing. So, try to make yourself comfortable, try to make yourself pleasing, and try to be formal and specific. Your body posture, the way you use your hands, the way you walk, the way you make your expressions on the face, all these things matters. So, try to practice in front of mirror to make self-monitoring such that you can correct yourself and not repeat that gestures which will make or create a negative impact on your listeners. Next, be enthusiastic about your topic. To be enthusiastic about your topic, you have to make research. You have to explore different kinds of elements and you have to gain confidence over that topic which you are going to speak. That will create enthusiasm in you. So, try to be energetic, try to be active, try to be enthusiastic while you are giving your presentation. That will surely make your listener feel attracted towards you and also interested in your talk. Next, smile. This is very, very important, which many of them forget. Smile. A small smile will surely make others feel fresh. They will get attracted towards you when you smile. This is one of the important gesture you have to inculcate while your presentations are done. That will create a very good, calm, soothing impression on your listener. Next, slow down your speech. Don't just continuously go on lecturing. Try to slow down. Try to observe your listeners. Try to make or give pauses in between such that you will try to understand the expression, feeling and the emotion of your audience, which will help you in refreshing them again through your words. So, try to slow down. Don't just go fast and end up your presentation. Try to address your audience with good tone and also with all the flexibility which will help you in rendering the true information, specific information, and which will appeal you towards your listeners. Next, use gestures to emphasize points. You can use gestures such that they'll be attracted towards you, such that it will look more effective while you present. So, all these points are very, very important when you present. Now, how is this PowerPoint presentation helps your oral presentation? How PowerPoint presentation will be a tool to you in making your oral presentation effective. Let us talk about that. Use of PowerPoint presentation and other presentation software is quite important and common today. Wherever you go, they ask you for PPT. That is PowerPoint presentation. Why do they ask? Because they not only want the information in oral format, but also they want information in written format or in the form of figures such that after your presentation, it may be used to fulfill the needs of that particular audience or the listener who is attending your presentation. Not only that, this is secondary, but firstly, it will help to create an impact on the listeners. When you are doing a presentation with PowerPoint, it will be like an evidence of what he is speaking. It is presented clearly, visually, such that that impact of the presentation will be directly on their brains and they'll be able to understand and analyze the point what the speaker is rendering. So, PowerPoint supports your oral presentation in the way of expanding the knowledge of your listeners. Well in advance, so you have to try to practice using PPTs well in advance such that your coordination with the PowerPoint should not be missed. So, your presentation and your oral presentation must be interrelated. They must not be different. Try to make the bullet points of the events or the situation or the information, whatever you are going to talk, such that you can address through the PowerPoint, so that, which will make a visual impact on your listeners. Easy ways to make PowerPoint presentation. Now, these are the ways which you can utilize to make the PowerPoint presentation clear and effective. 1. Build your slides last. That is, try to create your slides last. Do not try to replace you. Be yourself. Try to put your own ideas on the PPT. Don't try to copy from others, because if you are copying the PPT from somewhere and trying to render your information using that particular PPT, it will be not matching and it will create confusion on your audience, between your audience. So, therefore, create a PPT which will reflect you, which will reflect your thoughts, which will reflect your feelings. Next, use a consistent theme. See that you use consistency. You make sure that you maintain the consistency of the thought or the topic or the content, whichever you are addressing. Don't go out of the box and create something and add some other information which is not at all relevant to the topic in your slide, such that when you present orally along with that PPT, it will not be matching and it creates chaos among the audience. So, try to present yourself with good consistency of thoughts of one particular entity or of one particular topic. Next, one narrative per slide. See that you address one point for one slide. Don't mix it with 2 or 3 notions on one slide. 1 point, 1 slide, such that it is clearly addressed to the listener or the audience about the information what you are speaking. Next, fade to black when speaking. Try to fade your PPT with black when you want to give just oral presentation. See that there is no slide, or make it as dark. When in doubt, dump it. When you have any doubt, dump it. You are not going to use it. See, as there is in picture, plan, practice, present. What do I already know? That is, you are going to present all the things what you already know in that form of PPT, such that it will add more information to your oral presentation. Build your slides last. You could be tempted to start monkeying with slides. That means start with slides and just pool with slides without giving proper information. No. Add well-designed, well-formatted, well-organized slides when you do the PPT. Next, do not try to replace you. We already spoke. Try to present yourself. Try to present your views. Try to present your thoughts and interpretations, such that there is no confusion create among the listeners. Next, use a consistent theme. See that you use the same theme all throughout your presentation. You will not step out of that particular situation, or you will not go out of the box. Use examples relevant to your topic. Use the content relevant to the topic such that there is fluency, accuracy and effectiveness in your presentation. Then, one narrative per slide. That is, for one particular speech of 60 minutes, you can have 30 to 35 slides. Restrict and be specific to have one narrative, one explanation, one point to one particular slide. Next, fade to black when speaking. Try to fade out your slides in the form of black when you want to talk to your audience. When you don't want them to look over the slide, try to fade it black. Next, when in doubt, dump it. That is, you're not going to use that slide, just dump it and just give the oral presentation. If you feel that something has went wrong and or the PPT is rendering something which is not relevant to your speech, dump it. You're not going to use it. Next, a great PowerPoint presentation is, what are the tips to maintain or to give good PowerPoint presentation? 1. Prepare to win. So, try to research, plan and prepare. I repeat, research, plan and prepare. Research about the topic, whatever you are going to address. After doing proper research, plan the things that how you are going to render it, or organize the things, organize the points in that way where it cannot create any chaos and it will give specific information to your listeners. Then prepare. Then start preparing yourself to give effective oral PowerPoint presentation. Next, designed correctly, use visual points. Should stand out without overwhelming your audience. So don't use much brighter slides or don't use more number of colors. Design correctly with proper format, with proper coloring techniques, and don't mess up with so many elements on one particular slide. Try to restrict yourself one point to one slide. Practice to perfection. So practice with PPT, your presentation, till you attain perfection. Next, deliver it with pious. That is, you're going to present your presentation with lot of calm, soothing and pious nature inbuilt in you, and you're going to be very formal, specific and smiling sometimes whenever it is needed, and rendering on a very mediocre tone, not low, not high. So, all these are the very, very important tips used in your oral PowerPoint presentation. Next, free from mistakes. Of course, we are all humans. We tend to make mistakes, but try to be free from mistakes. When can it happen? Only when you practice. So, as oral PowerPoint presentations play major role in your professional life, try to attain expertise with good research, planning, practice and preparation to give your oral presentations along with good PPT which is equipped with good points in a logical order with the introduction, body and the conclusion. So, this will help you to make effective oral presentation. Thank you.
Like, share and subscribe. Hit the bell icon for more updates.